Hello friends, welcome back to my channel Mukesh English, and this is Mukesh Soni. In this video, I'm going to have the discussion of the revision of the syllabus of first semester BCA B.Sc Generic English for 60 marks from the examination point of view. Let me tell you once again, here I'm going to revise the whole syllabus according to the question paper pattern from the examination point of view, where I will not be able to discuss in each and every topic in detail, but I will try to touch the surface of the each and every topic. And for more details, I would suggest you that you can go through my 5 question papers solution. I have solved here 2 question papers from the BNU, 2 question papers from the BU, and one the model question papers. So you have 5 question papers already for the practice. The links you can see in the description box. I have done all the chapters videos. Also the links you can see in the description box for the more detail. So let's try to understand the questions, what kind of questions will appear in the examination. So let's revise the whole syllabus in this video, right? Let's begin it. So before that, let's have a glance at the syllabus. What is in your syllabus exactly? You have the 2 sections in the syllabus. One is a workbook for 40 marks and the course book for 20 marks. In the workbook, you have here comprehension passage, referencing skill, brochure, advertisement, picture reading, data interpretation, listening, hearing, verbal, non-verbal communication, listening activities. You have how to introduce yourself, others, request, offering help, congratulations, inquiry, seeking information, how to give the instructions, to use the device, to give directions. Then you have subject verb agreement, you have question forms, you have question tags, you have linkers. So this is about the 40 mark syllabus from the workbook. Then you have 5 very special chapters from the course book for 20 marks. The chapters are I Shall Go Back in the New Year, The Wolf, Living, Wings of Fire, Relations Between Men and Women. So let's begin it. So the section A consists here 40 marks questions from the workbook or from the grammar component. So the all the questions which I have, the topics which I'm discussing here, they're in the flow of your question paper. How the question paper appears, let's have the discussion. So the very first question you'll be here, you'll be having here from the passage. You'll be having here as usual a passage will be given, and you need to read the passage and you need to answer the questions set on it. So the 5 questions will be asked and you need to answer those 5 questions and answer to the point, right, in a very brief, hardly one of the 2 lines, or wherever it's applicable. You can, wherever it's applicable, you can use a one word answer also. Second question you'll be having here, they're from the referencing skills. So you have 2 important referencing skills here, 2 important styles to make the bibliography or the references. One is the APA style, one is the AP American Psychological Association, one is a Modern Language Association, APA style in the MLS style. In the examination, you can opt anyone, you can opt anyone. And how will it appear, how will it appear in the examination? 2 marks question: arrange the following in a MLA or in the APA format. So place of publication, there's a book here which was published in New Delhi, and there's a title, year, author, and the publisher. So you can see both the format, you can apply any one format. So when you write in the MLA or the APA, so the very first, what do? We write the second name of the author first, comma, first name, then the title of the book in the double inverted comma, full stop, then the publisher name, comma, then the place of publication, comma, and the year of publication. That is the MLA format. There's only one minor difference between the MLA and the APA format. In the MLA format, we have written year of publication at the end, but in the APA format, we will write very next to the next to the last name of the author, right before the name of the book. That's a difference. So write any one format, you'll be getting here 2 marks, and this is how this question will appear, right? Go through the previous year's question paper, you will get more idea. And I have done a very special video on how to do the bibliography or the referencing skills, AP or MLA. Link is in the description box. Now, next question you have here, brochure writing. So you need to create a brochure, and that's for 3 marks. You need to create a brochure. For example, there's a question here: create a brochure about the upcoming book exhibition in your college. So when we create a brochure, we mention here the college name, the company name. We try to design the brochure by using pencil, and we need to mention the date, time, place, who is the organizer, right? So these are the basic details we need to mention. This for 3 marks. Go through the video on the brochure writing. Link is in the description box. Next, very important question is here, data interpretation. That's for 5 marks question for the data interpretation. So here you'll be having the graphs like this. You'll be having the graph like this, and you need to interpret the data. You need to give a data interpretation, and here you need to describe this data in the paragraph. You need to describe these data in the paragraph. First, you try to describe the each and every component. For example, if I take up this first chart here, the different modes of transport used to travel. So I'll say here 20, this number is percentage. 20% people use bus, 40% people use car, 30% people use bike, 10% people use here foot. So this is a one by one description. Now let's compare the maximum usage of the vehicle, that is car, is being used by the people. The maximum usage of the maximum, I mean to say, the vehicle which is used maximum, that is car, and the minimum, that's always we say here, not a vehicle, the people prefer to, the people don't walk, that's only 10%. So like this you need to compare, and you need to give a presentation, you need to give an interpretation of the data. I've done a very special video on this topic. Please go through the video, go through my videos about those 5 question papers. There you will get maximum answers. As I mentioned that here, I will not discuss in detail. I just go with the flow of the question paper. I'll just trying to touch the revise the whole syllabus here, right? Let's move to the next question. Listening skills. Now you will be having here the questions. You'll be having here totally 10 marks questions here. Total 10 marks questions. Before, let's try to understand. You have two important topics here. One is here listening skills. Second is here verbal and non-verbal signs of listening. Here in this topic, you need to understand the meaning of listening, the types of listening with examples, what's the difference between listening and hearing. You need to understand what's the meaning of communication, meaning of verbal communication, non-verbal communication, then which are the verbal signs of listening, which are the non-verbal signs of listening. Here you have two types of question. There here 5 questions for 1 mark, and then you have 2 marks 1 question, 2 marks 1 question, and 1 mark 1 question. So these are the questions. Totally you will be having here 10 marks questions. So please read, I'm sorry, please go through my videos on listening skills, verbal non-verbal signs of listening. Here I have tried to give you some extra so you will definitely get here good marks, because easy questions will appear. As I mentioned earlier, the meaning of listening, the types of listening, which are the different types of listening you have, then different I would say here the difference between listening and hearing, then which is what's the meaning of verbal communication, non-verbal communication, mention the two signs of verbal signs of listening, non-verbal signs of listening, right? Then you have questions from the do as directed questions. You have here do as directed. Here the question will be asked for the 5 marks questions will be asked here. Here these questions will be asked from those different segments, like how do you introduce yourself to somebody, or how do you introduce someone to someone. For example, introduce your father to your principal. How do you inquire in the particular situation? Then how do you request for something? Then you need to complete the dialogues. Okay, then you have the questions from the instructions. You will be having the question. Okay, 1 minute, let me just give you some more ideas here. You need to give the introduction. For example, they ask that introduce yourself to the class, right? Good morning everyone, my name is this, I'm studying so and so class. Then inquire in the following situations. For example, if you want to inquire about the bus ticket, excuse me sir, could you please tell me where can I get the bus ticket for Mysore Express? How to request, right? You have not brought your pen or your laptop, you want to borrow a laptop from a classmate. Could you please lend me a laptop for half the day? Then complete the dialogues. You need to complete the blank dialogues will be there, or you need to complete those blank dialogues. So such kind of questions will be for the 5 marks. Then you'll be having the questions to prepare the instructions to do something. For example, prepare instructions to make Maggie, to make noodles, to prepare coffee, to prepare tea, or to demonstrate any object like prepare a set of instructions that how to install WhatsApp on your cell phone, how to install any app in your cell phone, how to withdraw money from the ATM machine, right? How to operate the washing machine. So such kind of questions will appear. It's very common sense questions. You need to use the instructions and you need to use the keyword first. So this type of question will appear maybe 2 or 3 marks. So you need to state here the basic steps to open the bank account. Such questions might be asked. Then you have here grammar. Next you have here grammar here. In this grammar portion you have the questions for the 2 marks questions here. Question will be asked here, 2 marks question tag. So obviously if your statement is positive, your question tag will be negative. If your statement is negative, your question tag will be positive. Please watch my videos on question tag. Then you have questions. You need to frame the WS questions to get the underlined word as an answer. So 2 questions will be asked to prepare the WS questions. Go through those examples, you will get more ideas. Further, in the grammar, you have the questions from the subject verb agreement. That's for 1 mark questions. So here, remember, if the subject is singular, your helping verb will be singular. If your subject is plural, your helping verb will be plural. So women is a plural subject. So have is the helping verb for the plural subject. Next you have here linkers. So the in the bracket, these linkers are given. Hence, however, because eventually you need to fill the blanks with the appropriate linkers. So go through the statement and try to think that which is the most meaningful and the appropriate linkers. So linkers are here for 3 marks in the examination. So this is how you'll be having the 40 marks questions from the workbook, 40 marks questions from the workbook. And you have no choice for those 40 marks questions. All the questions are compulsory. So if you attempt those questions with a lot of common sense, with a lot of caution, you may get 40 out of 40, right? So watch my videos on all these topics, on all these workbook topics. The links are available in the description box. Now, according to the question paper, we shall have the discussion of the course book. The chapters, you have 5 chapters in your syllabus, and I'm not going to discuss those 5 chapters question answers here because I have already done the videos on the question answers summary and the question answers in the description box. You can see the links here. And here I'm going to talk about the brief summary or some important key points of each chapter so that you can recall, right? You might have forgotten at the last moment. This video will help you to recall. So here you have 2 important sections, 2 marks, 5 questions out of 7 questions that you need to answer in one of the 2 sentences. Then second section you have here 5 marks, 2 questions out of 4 questions. So that you need to answer in 1 page. So you have only 2 marks and 5 marks. You don't have 10 marks questions. Don't worry. So now let's have a discussion of all those 5 chapters one by one. Very first chapter you have here, I Shall Go Back in the New Year. It's a poem written by Nilim Kumar. The poem titled I Shall Go Back in the New Year is composed by Nilim Kumar. In this poem, the poet talks about the resolution made for the new year. He expresses his willingness to go back. Instead of stepping forward for the new year, he would like to look back and reflect what he had accomplished in the past. He gives more importance to the past than the future. He wants to go back from the civilization, and for this he takes some decisive resolution. The poet rejects the idea of buying a new car this new year as everyone thinks. He decides to sell his 2 cars to buy new one. Sorry, 2 cars to buy a bicycle. I'm sorry, to buy a bicycle. He decides to sell his 2 cars to buy a bicycle. Please correct. He wants to sell his 2 car, and from that money, he would like to buy a bicycle. Unlike other people, he doesn't wish to build a new house. Instead of building a new house or buying a new flat, he would like to demolish the concrete walls of his compound and build a bamboo fence which will air to pass through without intervention towards his house. It shows that he doesn't like walls and he's a man of free thoughts. He emphasizes to return to the past instead of planning for future. Instead of buying a new Android mobile, he wishes to repair his old phone which he bought only for rupees 800. He would like to arrange a new Chinese eyeglasses instead of going for eye checkup. He could easily get Chinese reading glasses for just rupees 150 from the footpath of Fancy Bazaar. He wishes to go to the past when the civilization was developing. The poet would like to lead a simple life by giving I'm sorry by giving up eating food in porcelain utensils, drinking from glass tumbler, and decides to have food in plantain leaves from backyard. So he decides to eat everything by hand, mixing with fingers. He would like to walk barefoot and rejects the usage of shoes or sandals. In this manner, the poet would like to go back to civilization to avoid the lies for the new year, as lies are important to more further, and he decides to live in past and enjoys the company of past without embracing the new year, which will be filled with many lies. The poet promises that he would not step in the new year. It is itself a truth which he wants to prove by embracing the past. He feels a king of fun in going back. He accepts this fun with a lot of determination and dedication. Though the fruitful new year intoxicates him, he denies to move further. This is spelling error. He denies to move further. He receives a kind of grace in moving towards the past. So that's about I want to look back in the I don't want to go back in the new year. Next story, The Wolf by Farooq Sarwar. The short story Wolf is written by Farooq Sarwar. In this short story, the unknown narrator breaks the barriers of his own imagination and he would like to taste freedom. The narrator tells that he had taken refuge in a tree for a long time but afraid to come down because he is afraid of a bloodthirsty wolf under the tree. The narrator is afraid that if he comes down to the ground, the wolf will tear him into pieces. He describes the tree on which he has taken refuge or shelter. The tree is unusual but not a magical tree. Although it is not a magical tree, it grants him all the things he wishes for, like soft warm bed, television with stereo, then stereo speakers, worldwide channels, all kinds of foods, etc. etc. The narrator is happy to be on the tree, which gives him all the comforts of life, but the only thing the narrator feels that he doesn't have that's freedom. The narrator is sure that freedom comes with its cost, and the cost is his life. If he tries to run away from the tree, he'll be killed by the wolf who is waiting for him down the tree. The narrator thinks that he doesn't have the courage to face the wolf and kill it. The narrator recalls the days in his life when the wolf was chasing him. He breaks into cold sweat and his heart sinks. He thanks God for saving him from wolf by providing the tree so that he could be safe on it. Even in his despair, the narrator feels that he is safe because the tree is tall one and the wolf cannot reach him. The narrator feels safe during daytime, but at night he is troubled by the nightmares. He is agonized because he is a captive in the tree. He wonders how long he has to suffer the agony of captivity. He wonders if he has to wait for for the wolf to die of hunger, but there is no hope at all. One morning, he is surprised to see another man who has also taken shelter on the tree. The man had also chosen the very same tree to escape from another wolf which was troubling him. The wolf which was troubling the new man could not reach him. Both the narrator and the new man were afraid that the wolves were hunting them. Both of them have every means of comfort on the tree, but they are haunted by the boredom and the feeling of oppression. The frightful images of the wolves never allow them to sleep. They can't sleep peacefully. The narrator describes the nature and the attitude of the wolves. The wolves usually are silent, but sometimes they are overcome by madness and attack the tree ferociously, which frightens both of them. The narrator finds something unusual about the wolves. The other man's wolf does not bother the narrator, and the narrator's wolf does not bother the other man. What what astonishes the narrator is that even the wolves themselves do not bother each other. One day, after long discussion, they both decide to get down and confront face the wolves. They are fed up with their imprisonment on the tree. The narrator's friend jumps down even before his wolf could react. The narrator's friend kills the wolf with a branch from the tree. The narrator does not have the courage to get down, and his wolf claws desperately at the tree trunk. The narrator's friend encourages him to get down, assuring him that the wolf is weak and could not be killed easily. The narrator does believe his words, shivers in fear. His wolf starts to shake the tree, and strangely, the tree starts to shrink. The narrator is terrified and numbly waits for death to take him, but the narrator's friend urges him to jump down. He convinces the narrator that wolf is just an embodiment of imaginary fears which can be kicked out of our path to freedom. The narrator then gathers all his courage and jumps down. The narrator now feels free. He experiences the beautiful world of freedom. When he looks for his friend, he cannot find him. He looks around and finds himself surrounded by the innumerable trees, many trees. He finds that each tree is occupied by one individual, and a wolf is growling beneath each tree. The narrator then starts to laugh out loudly. He laughs at those foolish people who are afraid of the wolves inside without any reason. Here, the wolf is a metaphor for our imagined fears. Unless we overcome our imagined fear, we will never be free. Without freedom, our life is oppressive. We have to face our wolves, that is, imagined fears, with courage and destroy them. That's about the wolf story. Now we have the story Living by written by M.G. Wasanji. The story Living is set in Tanzania. It's a story of a woman who raises her five children alone after the early death of her husband. Her two elder daughters get married, and the eldest son acquires a job. The mother focuses on the two younger ones. One is Alu, and the youngest one is the narrator himself. Alu is in his final year in school, and the girl is in the university. She pins all her hopes on them that they have better education. She sells their store and moves them to Upanga. The place is very quieter and provides a better environment for them to study. The return of Mr. Dattu, a former teacher, inspires Alu to think of giving further education in America. He wants to study medicine. He starts writing to American universities to get the necessary information. He's not keen on studying agriculture in the local university. Alu is offered a place with a scholarship in the California Institute of Technology. However, his mother would not allow him to accept this offer, mentioning the reason of low finance or fear of losing him as the reason. Finally, on the advice of a school teacher, Mr. Welchi, the mother relents and accepts the idea of allowing Alu to leave home for different sky. For the first time, the narrator sees her mother as a person, not just as a mother, someone who has always thought only of the children's welfare. Alu's first letter was a graphic, enthusiastic account of London, but to the mother, she's uncertain of his return. So that's about the story. Please go through my video for more information. Fourth chapter, Wings of Fire by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Here I have just given the glimpse of the lesson. Please read the lesson or go through my videos about the summary and the question answers in more detail. This extract is taken from Wings of Fire, an autobiography of APJ Abdul Kalam with Arun Tiwari. He worked under Kalam for over a decade in the Defense Research and Development Laboratory DRDL, Hyderabad. This extract gives us an introductory insights into Kalam's life, his childhood, and the people who influenced him, his family, his upbringing, and his early days of struggle. We also find here the cultural and the religious milieu Rameshwaram offered the young Kalam. So that's a brief introduction. We have few key points. when you go through this chapter, you learn about Kalam's family, how Kalam's parents influenced him. You will also learn here four two important persons, Pakshi Lakshmana Shastri, the priest, and his father Jainuddin. And also you'll also learn that what kind of spiritual concepts Mr. Kalam's father has taught him, and Kalam's father's business. And there are two important persons, Jalaluddin and Samsuddin. Jalaluddin married to Kalam's sister Zohara. Samsuddin is Jalaluddin's first cousin, and both of them have played very important role in Kalam's life. The impact of Second World War 1939, and Kalam's science teacher Siva Subramania Iyer. Then Kalam's wish to leave Rameshwaram and to take admission at Schwartz High School. So these are just key points. Please go through the summary and the question answers video to get more ideas about this lesson. Last lesson we have here, relations between men and women by Raja Ramon Roy. Again here I have given only the glimpse of the key points. For more information, please watch my videos on summary and the question answers of those chapters. This is an extract from Ramchandra Guha's Makers of Modern India book. It highlights the abominable practices like sati, caste system, gender discrimination, and these are the key points which Raja Ramon Roy discusses here. He says women cannot be considered inferior to men. He mentions females firmness of mind, misconception of women, being unworthy of trust announced by men. Are women subject to passion more than men? Women are treated worse than inferior animals, the distressing situation which women endure, and the five assumptions which are demolished by Raja Ramon Roy. These are: women are, number one, women are in general inferior to men. These are the assumption which he have demolished. Number two, deficiency in the point of resolution. Number three, women being unworthy of trust. Are women subject to passion more than men? At marriage, wife is recognized half of her husband. So these are the key points of this lesson. Watch the video on summary and the question answers. So friends, this is how I have tried to bring up the complete revision of your first semester BCA BSc generic English syllabus for 60 marks as far the main examinations is concerned. I have just touched the surface. For more information, for more study in depth, in detail, you please watch my videos on all the topics. All the topics. I have solved the 5 question papers. Please go through the links in the description box. That's going to help you a lot. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this video, click on the like button. If you want to say something, if you want to write something, कुछ तो comment box में लिखो भाई. So write in the comment box. अभी तक आपने subscribe नहीं किया my channel. If you are not yet subscribe my channel, please do subscribe my channel. Thank you so much. I wish you good luck for the examination. Thank you once again.